Welcome to the Semtech WAN Network Show. I'm Rémi Laurin, Director for LoRaWAN Networks at Semtech and Chairman of the LoRa Alliance Operator Community. You know what? Today, we are pleased to welcome and honored to welcome Techtenna. Techtenna is a LoRaWAN operator in the Netherlands, and Marco Sprenkels is the managing director and founder of Techtenna. Marco, welcome to the WAN Network Show.
Yes, thank you, Remy.
And so it's cool to have you. And I will let you introduce yourself and your company, please.
Okay, thank you. Well, first, thank you for inviting me on this wonderful show. Happy to tell more about our company and what we're doing here in the Netherlands. So my name is Marco Sprenkels. I'm the founder, as Remy said, of Techtenna, which is a LoRaWAN operator in the Netherlands, recently being acquired by Netmore, Swedish Netmore, which is a European LoRaWAN operator. So what we do in the Netherlands is we provide LoRaWAN services to a lot of use cases like utilities and smart cities, etc.
Cool. So, Marco, could you elaborate on what type of LoRaWAN public network you are deploying in your country, and what makes you unique?
Okay. Let's start what kind of type of network we are. My co-founder, Jeroen, has been working on LoRaWAN for quite a while in Belgium, where together with Wireless Things. And what they discovered there is that LoRaWAN, although it has a long reach, in some cases, for example, deep indoor use cases, you don't need one gateway in a whole city. You need really a lot of gateways. We started to call it a high density network. And what we did in the beginning of our network, we said, okay, look, nobody cares about the network. People care about receiving if their device is working. So it is no use to say, okay, we got global coverage, we got national coverage. No, they only care if there one device, if there's one, you don't see it in the camera. Okay. If you got one device working on the network. So that's what we started focusing on. So whenever you started doing business with us, we said, okay, we make sure your device works. And don't bother about coverage. We'll take care of coverage. And if there's no coverage, it's my problem. I'll make sure you get coverage. So this way we can guarantee the connectivity of the devices. And this way you can talk about business instead of is there coverage? How many gateways? How many this? How many this? Blah, blah, blah. No, we talk about the business. So how fast can you deploy your use case on IoT? How fast can you save money while using IoT? So that's what we started doing in the Netherlands. We started in the city we originate from, which is Breda, which is in the south of the Netherlands. Then we extended to other cities nearby, and then we connected to cities. And now we're almost in the whole of the Netherlands where our customers are. Our aim is to provide deep indoor coverage in the whole of the Netherlands. And that's something we are going to build together with Netmore, our new company. We're going to realize that in the coming 2 years.
It's really insightful. We've been discussing hours on that. I like the way you shift the mindset from a coverage provider to a connectivity provider. You connect an asset. You don't care about talking about number of gateways or whatever. So I like this mindset because it fits the IoT needs. And so, Marco, you know that you announced a few weeks ago that you were acquired by Netmore. And so what is the impact of this acquisition?
Well, the acquisition of Netmore, we see it more like a merger, it's an acceleration of the Techtenna strategy. It's very simple. Netmore has been ahead. I consider it to be a copy of our company. They were just 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead. So they had more customers, more countries, more financing. And then we decided, okay, the culture is a perfect match. It's an acceleration for our strategy to cover Europe in interesting use cases. They have the same idea about coverage. They call it coverage on demand. So for us, it's a really strategic partnership, and which ended up in, well, the acquisition of Techtenna by Netmore. But basically, in the Netherlands, it's an acceleration for Techtenna.
So cool. And so you know that IoT is about use cases at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What type of use cases or verticals do you cover? And could you explain with an example how you implement this, let's say, coverage strategy or coverage new paradigm in some verticals that you are focused on?
Sure. Well, the biggest market we're in is the water utility market. We're the largest IoT provider for water utility in the Netherlands. And what we see there is that, first of all, you have basic coverage. You know, you like an X percentage of the water meters work. Well, if there's always some difficult situations, like you can't calculate with radio planning and putting on the highest towers. Just some meters are difficult locations, real deep indoor coverage, in a pit with a metal lid, in a concrete pit, and we still want to cover that. So then we extend our network. So we build up new antenna sites. We go and inspect difficult locations, see how we can improve it, just to work towards the 100% coverage. So that's a good example. Another example is a parking use case. Parking is kind of difficult. It's because the parking sensors, if you put them on the floor, they work. You have outdoor coverage, no problem. The problem starts when it's needed, when there's a car parked on top of it, because then it's blocked by a lot of metal, and so this is. So what we are now is taking over a lot of parking use cases, because they were used to using providers which provide outdoor coverage, and then it worked, but the use case parking didn't work. So now with our approach, we just say, okay, we guarantee connectivity. I don't care if there's a car or a house on top of the parking sensor. We'll take care of the connectivity. So this needs close cooperation with a customer to say, okay, if it doesn't work, okay, let's inspect what's happening, and then we extend our network. We just install new antennas to make the use case work. Because if it doesn't matter if you have 100 gateways, if just one sensor doesn't work, then you need to install 101 gateways. And that's what we are doing. And that in this way, we can work towards our promise. We guarantee connectivity. Important to note is that we always do this together with the customer. So they have to understand that you cannot buy connectivity and say, okay, it works. Because there will always be situations, some devices do not work. First of all, it has to do with LoRa. You can always miss a message. It's part of the protocol. But secondly, there's different difficult situations. And you can't predict it. You can learn from it. So you can, in your next use case, you can proactively try to prevent those use cases. But what we've noticed the last few years is that there are always interesting situations where you have to take care of and where you learn from.
Okay, interesting. It's about the radio technology, right? So any radio technology is not guaranteed, and it's more about the capability of the network provider to adapt to the customer use case. And it's exactly what you are doing when describing this smart parking use case. What is the most compelling project you've deployed in the Netherlands, Marco?
Yeah, I think that's the water use case, because we started with it's always the big chicken and the egg problem. It's you need capex to deploy your network, but in order to pay it, you need some revenue. And we started to invest in the network, and based on pilots, the water companies they started to see the advantage of working on our network, and they were happily surprised by it. So now it's from one comes the other and the other, and so this is the best use case we have, the nicest use case. And one of the reasons which personally touches me, because it has an impact. If you do the utility meters, you save water. This is more tangible than this. It will not become. Parking meter is nice, and you prevent a ticket or something. But if you save water, you save water. We had a use case which is lovely. It was a big office building, and they detected a permanent usage of 500 liters an hour. And I said, this is kind of abnormal. So they went looking, nothing to find. They said, no, it's nothing happening. It's your sensor. I said, no, it's not. It's not our network. It's not the device. And after some research, they discovered it was the toilets, the flushing thing, and I don't know what's called in English, which was leaking. But there were really a lot of toilets. And this is something which is perfectly, you can show that because of IoT, you saw the problem, you find the cause, and you find a solution. And you save 4 million liters of water only for this building. So this is what I specifically like about water use cases, is that the impact is tangible, is immediate.
Interesting, because for the last years, people were focused on ROI, but now they talk about impact. What is the impact on the planet, the impact for the community, the impact for the economy? So we are gonna have a step higher, maybe a step back. We are not only obsessed by the dollar return, but we think about sustainability. And clearly, look at the Netmore keynote at the LoRaWAN World Expo. LoRaWAN is clearly, and IoTs are clearly participating in ESG matters and stakes. And it's very good to see that. It's another dimension of our business, right?
Yes, I think so too. And this is one of the reasons why the fit with Netmore was perfect. The Netmore and the investors behind Netmore, they have a strong belief in that IoT will help. They want to add to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and they want to do this by making infrastructure measurable. And to make infrastructure measurable, you need IoT, and that's why they heavily invest and believe in the future of IoT. And that's the same mindset as we have. And the best use cases is water, is electricity, is gas, because then you have a direct impact.
So Marco, we all know that Netherlands is a very active ecosystem. What are the specificities of the Dutch market, and what are the opportunities for LoRaWAN for you?
I think Netherlands is no different than other countries. I have a strong belief there will be a growth of the IoT market, which will be split between licensed and unlicensed. Licensed meaning narrowband IoT, unlicensed that will be LoRa. They will have the largest part. Now, I think the advantage of LoRa is the flexibility of it. Because if there's no coverage, for example, again, a water meter or a parking meter, you can change and act upon your network. And that's why I think we have the approach and the ability to execute is to actually do that. So if you approach deploying a LoRaWAN network as you're used to run an operating network. You have an installation. That's it. You do radio planning, and then you have coverage. This is a block for IoT. You need the flexibility. Also, I believe is that, and then again, Netherlands is no different than other countries, is that any company will have an IoT strategy or insights in the possibility of IoT. They need to have the insights is that IoT is not consisting of one technology. There is no only LoRaWAN strategy. You need to know what technologies are out there, narrowband IoT, LoRaWAN, but even wireless MBUS. And you need to be able to understand how these technologies can work together. Because sometimes the one technology is the best and sometimes the other one. For example, if you need connectivity in the whole of Europe and you don't care if there's no connectivity for 1 hour or something, well, it might be narrowband IoT or on our network because we roam with everybody. And if you don't care about SLAs, you can switch to one of the community networks like Helium. So you have to understand what technologies are out there and project it on the use case needed. Because in order to, and then we are back to impact, in order to create impact, you don't have to always think about it has to work perfectly, because there is no perfect solution. You have to work with what's possible. So if you, for example, the satellite solutions, I know you're very enthusiastic about that. You need to be aware of satellite solutions coming up, but it's not going to work in every case because of cost, because of speed of deployment, because of frequency of messages, etc. But it is a part of your total solution set. So what I strongly believe is in the Netherlands, and I think all the technologies have presence in the Netherlands. So maybe then the Netherlands is the ideal sandbox to show that strategies deploying multiple technologies are needed to have a successful IoT strategy.
Yes, makes sense. Makes sense. You touch upon Helium. You connected Helium, and you were one of the first to connect Helium. Could you elaborate on how do you use Helium collaboration?
Sure. Helium is, for people that know, it's a community network. So everybody at home can deploy their own, LoRaWAN network, and because this is done worldwide, there's a worldwide Helium network, and people are incentivized by getting cryptos. Now, this is the one. It's brilliant. It's a network which has never been shown because it's a global, fastest growing global network ever. On the other hand, it's a community network, so there's no SLA. So for us, we love the concept. We love disruption. We love to connect with them, but there is no SLA possible. And because it's still in development, is the performance of the network varies. Now, on the other side, so we use it as a backup network. We only use it as a backup network in some use cases. The use of Helium is, customers, and I talk big customers, they always want an operator, somebody who can they can call. So this is happening. What is happening? Why is it happening? Can you solve it? When will it be solved? And this cannot be done with a community network like the Things, which is at home, or Helium. So what we do is we use every coverage we can find, but we know how to project it in our SLA conditions. So Helium is also an accelerator to build small, fast use cases. So, for example, I always use Paris in France because I love Paris. Whenever I have a customer say, "Does it work in Paris?" and I say, "Switch on the device, and I'll show you it works," and then we just use the Helium network.
Okay. I like how you bring this, let's say, carrier grade SLA layer on top of Helium. So collaboration could be fruitful in that way.
Yeah. It's. I think again, this fits in the. I think as a customer, nobody cares about the technology behind everything. If you want to make impact, you have to understand the customer. You have to understand the customer use case, and for that you must understand that you need a variety of technologies to perfectly fit the customer use case. And I think LoRaWAN is the perfect base for most of the use cases. But even in LoRa, you have some taste. The SLA. You have private networks, you have satellite networks, and you have public networks, or community networks, I mean. And I think the best strategy for a customer is not to choose one for any reason, but to see what all the networks mean and connect them together. Security is what. Let me give you an example. Security is one of the. Everybody says immediately when my customers say security, because they read stuff and the tech community. They always talk about security and how they can improve it. Now, LoRa is secure by design. It's secure by any means, and you can even put private security layers on top of it. But it's more secure than any other protocol out there. So don't focus on the tech parts. Focus on the use case. It's secure. If you use LoRa in what variant you want to use, doesn't matter. It's secure and it helps your use case. So I love to combine the technologies.
So inspiring. So I recommend to the audience to check the LoRa Alliance video on diversity of network business model. It's like you explained, it's like a jigsaw of community networks, public network, private network, and satellite network. You pick up your pieces of the jigsaw, you can assemble through roaming or partner with Techtenna that can assemble for you all types of networks, and you can deliver all type of use cases anywhere in the world.
Exactly. So the most important message I'm trying to give is that the customers, they don't care about roaming or about technologies, Again, they just want this device to work, and that's as long as the market does not understand that should be the focus, we're holding back.
Okay. So Marco, sorry to interrupt you. If you would, what if you would give a message to the Dutch IoT end user? What would it be?
What will it be? Okay, specifically for the end users, the customers, it's good to build on an IoT strategy, educate what's possible, but more important, focus on the use case, on the business case. Don't focus on technology. Don't focus on, okay, we have selected this technology and who can supply it. Now, we want to solve this problem. Is there an IoT provider who can provide this? And then, you leave it to the specialists to choose the technology and to combine technologies. That's what we do. And we are very successful in that. So.
Okay. If I want to register to Techtenna LoRaWAN connectivity tomorrow, what would be the process?
You call me, and then 5 minutes later, you have your devices up and running. If it's one, it's up and running. If it's 10,000, it's up and running. This is because it's good to elaborate. It's now we're working with Netmore. They have invested the last years with a whole development team on making the provisioning easy and simple. So in our processes, it's easy to connect a single customer or a reseller or whatever. It's the one thing we have now is perfectly working processes to deploy this. So no need to you start buying with us from 5,000 subscriptions. No, you can buy a single subscription through us or through one of our resellers. So contact me and we'll take care of it.
Thank you, Marco. Is there something we missed that you want to add?
No, I think we're pretty complete, and I look forward to work on the LoRaWAN ecosystem in the Netherlands and the rest of Europe, of course. And I think the coming years are looking promising to do a lot of interesting IoT use cases.
A great thanks to you, Marco. It was awesome to have you in the WAN Network Show. Guys, thank you, the audience, for your time. Stay tuned, more interviews to come. Feel free to register to the WAN Network Show and follow us on LinkedIn. And looking forward to seeing you very soon, guys. Thank you, Marco.
Okay, thank you very much, Remy, and good luck with your show.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes and sign up for new episode alert. And visit us in person at NLIT in November. Talk to you very soon.